All right, what's up guys? Mr. Jones here. I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about the materials that we're going to use for our drawing. I know I talked a little bit in class about this, but I wanted to be a little bit more specific for people that are really new to this or just feel a bit out of their element. So first up, we've got our pencils, right? And this is our full range of pencils that are available for you to use. We've got our 2H, HB, B, 2B, 4B, and 6B. And what these numbers and letters refer to are basically the density of the graphite, right? And so the different density is going to create different marks. So for example, in my example here, you could see that the 2H pencil, the graphite is much more dense, so it's going to be a lighter mark. And then it progresses all the way up through 6B, where the graphite is not very dense, it's very soft, and it's going to make a really dark mark. It's also going to be a little bit more of a bold stroke, so not something to use necessarily for fine detail, but if you really want to get those values real deep and dark, that would be a good one to use, okay? The other tools, materials that we have, got two different types of erasers available. This is just a pretty classic, kind of like plastic rubber eraser. Works really well. When you're erasing anything, you want to make sure that you're like holding the paper down so that it doesn't, if you just go like this, you could crumple the paper and mess it up. So just be careful with that. I also have this is called a kneaded eraser. Like when you're kneading dough, so you can stretch it. When you pull it out and stretch it, you can see it gets lighter, and that kind of cleans the eraser a little bit. You can mold it and kind of form it into different shapes. You can, push it really flat so you can get like a real thin edge. You could also take it and break smaller pieces off of it. So if you're trying to get some really small detail erasing, I would suggest using this. This is real nice to actually use as a drawing tool. Sometimes I like to even form it into like, almost so it has a tip, or like a cone shape, like a point, so you can use it to do some detail erasing and things like that. Really, you can lift off a lot of graphite just by like pressing it down and lifting it up. So this is a great eraser tool that you can use. You can use it for any size. It's also nice for a fidget thing as well. I usually carry one of these around with me during class and mess with it. The last thing that some people are familiar with, this is called a blending stump or a blending stick. Basically what this is made of is just compressed paper, really fine paper fibers that are rolled and wrapped, and each end more or less has kind of a pointed end to it. So this is to be used when you're wanting to blend values and get really soft value tones. I recommend not to go overboard with this. If you do it too much, you're going to end up with smears and fingerprints and just basically just gray values all over your paper. So be selective when you use this if you really want to blend some of those values together. This is just a little piece of sandpaper actually, and this is kind of useful if you notice that some parts are really dark. You could use a sandpaper and kind of do it on the edge and real gently. I mean, you don't want to go really hard because it'll grind all the paper down, but you want to try to maintain that point. So I'm just kind of like rolling it as I kind of sand off some of those darker edges of the blending stump. So it kind of cleans it up a little bit, and so you won't, it prevents you from taking the graphite that's on here and putting it on your paper so that you can just blend what's already there. All right, so those are some tools and materials that I've got for you that you can use for this project, and hopefully you found this video helpful. See you in the next one. Peace.